You with the match night on BBC Radio Suffolk. Ipswich Town are back under the lights at Portman Road ahead of kick-off against promotion-chasing rivals Hull. Let's join our commentary team. Former Town captain Mick Mills in a moment. First, Brenner Woolley.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about these three successive home games over the past week or so, with a fair bit of discussion over the minimum points tally required. Well, what hasn't been up for debate is which of the trio is likely to be the toughest, and it's this one. Hull City, who start the night level on points with Town, are the best away side in the division. From final day relegation dodgers last year, they've seen a dramatic turnaround in their fortunes this season, and a win tonight would increase belief that they can go all the way. Town, though, head into this one in fine fettle themselves. They've bounced back superbly from the crazy defeat at Wrexham. They're now targeting a third straight win and a 12th victory from 18 here overall. They've also gone from conceding 5 in North Wales to shutting up shop in the last 2 since. And Mick, given the league table, this would be an excellent fixture to win, wouldn't it?
Yeah, without question, because this is against one of your rivals, you know, so if you can gain the 3 points, you've taken 3 off of one of your main contenders, so it makes a lot of difference. It really does, you know. So this is one that whatever we have to do, we've got to do it, and we've got to try and win the game. It will be so important if we can do it. We've talked about these 3 fixtures. We've talked about 9 points. It would be really nice if we could get it. This is the tough one for me, I think, because this team is going to really try to shut up shop. Just maybe we can conjure up one of those early home goals that we've been accustomed to, and if we can do that, then it would make our night much easier.
Lots of changes tonight in terms of the teams from the weekend. 5 for Ipswich Town. Out go Davis, Neal, Athon, Burns and Mehmeti, all on the bench, so fit. In come Greaves, Taylor, Eggerly, Clark and Hurst. Walton in goal. Same system as ever. Back 4 of Furlong, O'Shea the captain, Kipre and Greaves getting ready to face his boyhood club. Matthew Seawer plays alongside Taylor. Then there's Eggerly down the right, Clark down the left, Nunez in behind Hurst. On the bench, Palmer, Davis, Kiyuste, Burns, McAteer, Mehmeti, Akpom, Athon and Neal. Going out for Hull from the side that won 1-0 at Portsmouth at the weekend. Hadzimetovic, McBurney, Joseph and Famewo. In come McNair, Drame, Crooks and Miller, and they've also changed system as well to a back 3. Pandor is their keeper. They've got a back 3, we believe, of McNair, Egan and Hughes. Wide down the right will be Drame. Down the left, the captain Coyle, who has been playing right back, Coyle. In between them, Crooks and Slater. Kumas likely to lead the line through the centre on loan from Liverpool. Gelhardt was really impressive when we won 2-0 up there earlier on this season. He's likely to start to the right of Kumas with Miller to the left. On the bench, Phillips, Lundstrom, Ajay back after injury that he picked up in the African Cup of Nations. McBurney, their leading goal scorer, on 14. Hadzimetovic, Joseph Famewo, Doyle and McCarthy. Ipswich Town kicking in their preferred direction for this first half, playing from left to right, defending the Sir Bobby Robson stand, attacking Mr. Ralph Ramsey, and they are in blue, white, blue, up against the old gold, black and old gold kit of Hull. It's currently, as far as the league table is concerned, 4th versus 5th, both on 60 points. Eggerly, as Ipswich Town trying to get forward early on. Little flick into the area, looking for Hurst. Cleared away over his head, out on the far side by Hughes, who's having a very impressive season for Hull City. Decent away support, all things considered, for Hull. They're up above their old favourite Jacob Greaves, a Hull lad through and through. Went to Wembley to watch Hull in the FA Cup final 12 years ago with his dad, Jacob Greaves. There is Kipre on halfway Town, giving it to Dara O'Shea. Turns 27 tomorrow, the Ipswich Town captain. Here is Furlong. On this near side, Eggerly. Scored, of course, a week ago at Watford. Miller back to the goalkeeper and then cleared forward. Not very far, helped on by Coyle. Town pressing forward. Nunez into the box to Eggerly, lays it off towards Taylor. A little touch looking for Clark, wasn't good enough. Matthew Seawer wins it back well for Town. There is Greaves. Ipswich playing keep ball inside the Hull half, inside the 2nd minute of this game. Hull back 3 lining up slightly differently to what we thought they might. McNair on the left, Egan certainly in the centre, and Hughes across to the right hand side as Walton gets his first touch and the D Off to our left-hand side. There's a bit of smoke from the pre-match fireworks lingers around Portman Road. Furlong on this near side. This is the middle of 3 successive midweek games for Town. Paul forward. Hurst pushes his man. No, flag stays down. What a chance. Eventually the referee's blown his whistle. Egan unimpressed with the referee's assistant not flagging, but the referee understandably felt that was a foul by Hurst.
Well, I was watching the clock and we stayed within sort of 2 minutes, and it was all Town. Everything was in the Hull half, apart from when we had to go back, back pass from Darnell Furlong, but straight away O'Shea gets it forward, and I was just thinking, all we need to do is end up with a little chance at the end of this 2-minute spell, but the referee put a sort of stop to that. But that was a good start.
Yeah, Town have done well early doors. Hurst that was, now of course looking for his 3rd goal in as many games. George Hurst as Furlong leave it off the ball by Miller, the number 7, who is playing down the left-hand side as we expected. The Canadian international, like Kumas alongside him, also spent some time at Liverpool early on in his career. Matthew Seawer, heard from him earlier on match night. There is Taylor in for the rested Dan Neil. Taylor gives it back to Kipre. O'Shea lets the ball come across him out to the right hand side. He finds Egley, controlled by his left boot, infield to Nunez. Difficult ball for Nunez to deal with. Egley wins it back before Miller. Looked like a handball from Kumas. Kieran McKenna appealed for it. The referee tonight, incidentally, Lewis Smith, who coincidentally did the first meeting between these two sides back in November, spotted the hands.
Yeah, he's been sharp, the referee, so far, on 2 occasions.
Yeah, that was Akpom and Nunez who scored, incidentally, when these sides both met each other in the autumn. As McNair tries to get the ball down this left-hand side. It's come off an Ipswich Town player's knee and is out for a throw into Coyle. The captain made his 200th appearance for the club when Ipswich Town were up in East Yorkshire. It was a very, very poor first-half performance from Ipswich Town, but deserved winners in the end that night. Trying to double Hull for the first time ever, incidentally, this evening. Hull have actually got more league wins over Ipswich than the other way around, historically. Coyle with this throw-in down this left-hand side. O'Shea clearly shouted to Furlong, won the header. There is McNair, the number 37, to the centre spot, and Hughes on the right. Drame playing with gloves on. Far side, the former Leeds man has support, goes all the way back to Egan, who was randomly linked with Ipswich Town in the last transfer window. John Egan, the experienced Irishman, one of a few players in this Hull squad that have been promoted from this division in the past. Here he is once again, Egan. McNair, 0-0, 4.5 minutes gone on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Egan goes long, trying to mix it up, looking for Gelhardt, trying to get him involved for the first time in this match. As the ball comes off Drame for a throw into Ipswich in front of the Cobble stand.
Yeah, just looking at the system that Hull are going to play, you can see the back 5. That means that Egley and Clark will have somebody really, really close to them. It's just the interesting bit to be the front 3 of Hull, whether they stretch across from one touchline to the other. If they do, I think that will make it hard for our back 4. But then what it would also do, it would free up the midfield for us. We would be 3 against 2.
Good work from Taylor on that far side, flying down that wing. Ball's off a Hull defender for a throw to Greaves. Greaves gives it to Clark. They worked well in tandem last week at Vicarage Road, Greaves and Clark. Struck up a nice partnership. Cedric Kipre on the ball inside the Hull half of the field. Little in the way of goalmouth action so far. Ball given away by Clark. Drame was caught from behind by Greaves. Free kick to Hull City with this exceptional away record. They've won their last 5 on the road, unbeaten in their last 8. They've won 7 of those. The last team to beat Southampton until last night, the only away side to win at Birmingham, beating Millwall on their pitch. Terrific away record this season. Here in All Green is Pandor, the Croatian goalkeeper of Hull. Over on the far side, he plants it down that line towards the forehead of Kipre. Kipre springs and heads it towards Hurst. Hurst tries the flick on, looking for Clark. Cleared forward by Hughes. Kipra's header hits the back of Greaves. It's dropped down to the right-hand side for Kumas. One Liverpool appearance, one goal for his parent club as well, as the ball whistles back towards Egan. On halfway pretty much. He floats the ball to the right-hand side. It's a really good pass to Dramé and lots of space. Good sliding challenge from Taylor. That was excellent from him back at left back. Good work from the midfielder.
Yeah, very good work defensively there, but Egan's pass was a super one. That's the type of thing that when you haven't got the ball, you're taking stock of what you should do if you get the ball, and he did that pass so quickly. He obviously was thinking ahead of the game.
7 minutes on the clock. Dramé wide right, puts the ball into Ipswich area, pings around between Nunez and Greaves. Greaves lofts it into the sky. Hurst challenges for the header, but McNair's there first. Almost a mistimed jump on the far side by Slater, his first involvement. Clark has the ball for Ipswich Town. Good defending. Then he trips his man on the halfway line. It's a free kick which Egan, who's foul, wanted to take quickly. Egan eventually lofts it forward onto the chest of O'Shea at the back for Ipswich. Taylor finds Furlong. Taylor's been involved in this game so far and done well. Marcelino Nunez to the right-hand side. Eggly one-on-one with Coyle. Good play from Eggly. He finds Nunez. Nunez into the area behind Hurst. The ball trickles out to the far side, and Greaves, the attack, is still alive as far as Ipswich are concerned. 0-0. Taylor, there's a 1-2 with Greaves. Greaves stretches and gets on the ball. He finds Matusiwa. On the left wing is Taylor, trying to get into the Hull area. Goes to the byline, still has it the number 14. Pulls the ball back well to Greaves, who finds Clark. Good possession football from Ipswich Town. Kipre gets into an area where fans want him to shoot. He gave it to Hurst. Nice layoff from Hurst. Furlong to the right and Eggly. It's good work from Ipswich. Almost intercepted by Crooks from the toes of Matusiwa, but he didn't. The Blues of Ipswich still have it. Bang in the centre of the Hull half. Kipre on BBC Radio Suffolk, 0-0. Clark comes in field. 27-28 yards from goal. Back with Jack Clark. Glides away from Gelhardt. Goes down the left of the Hull area. Leaves the ball for Greaves. In comes his cross. A few Hull fans seem to be booing Jacob Greaves. Oh, mistake from Kipre. The ball is with Kumas. Slightly behind him. He showed a lot of pace. Kumas on the left-hand side. Looks towards Miller. Intercepted by O'Shea. Hull should have done better with that opportunity there. He got away from Ipswich Town. Good strong running from O'Shea up to the halfway line. Gives it to the more creative and attack-minded Nunez. Now Eggly on the right. This is good from Ipswich Town. Eggly inside the Hull area. Cuts in on his left foot. Shoots, blocked out behind front corner.
Well, that was good play for the fans. It really was. There was a mistake by a Town player, Kipre, I think it was, at the in our defensive half. They should have capitalised on it much better. The guy that went free down the right should have seen the player on the left who was completely and utterly free. He didn't see that. We got possession of the ball, and then that was a little chance for Eggly there coming on his inside.
A bit of inexperience from Kumas. Couldn't quite get the ball under control. As Mick said, they didn't have the vision to see Miller. A let off for Town, but then at the other end they almost scored through this man. Eggly with Ipswich Town's first corner kick by the tunnel off to our right, and it comes, looks good, headed away by Crooks from inside his 6-yard area. He got the winner for Hull at the weekend at Fratton Park. Eggly knocks the ball back into the air, flicked on by O'Shea. Then Nunez tries a spectacular effort. We have seen some good goals in that net this season, but that one was way off target.
Yeah, that was a little bit unnecessary. Maybe he should have sort of two-touch, would have been better. He could have controlled the ball and then sort of worked out what he was going to do with it. But this is quite an end-to-end game at the moment. You know, I think Hull look very organised defensively. We're playing with great patience, but they look okay on the break to me.
Who concede goals, Hull? They conceded 48 this season. That's actually more than second from bottom Oxford. They give teams chances. But of course they do have a couple of players in Gelhardt and McBurney on the bench, both in double figures for goals. Tend to be quite exciting matches that they're involved in, albeit Saturday was only a bit of a smash and grab 1-0 in all honesty. Portsmouth felt they deserved something from that game. Ball forward from Crooks. Miller was in his way. He's a bit frustrated with his colleague. Ipswich win it back. Nunez to Eggly. Eggly back to Matusiwa. He could sense that Kumas was close to him, so he stabbed the ball to Furlong. O'Shea Plays the ball between a couple of Hull midfielders to Taylor, keen to get on the ball, driving into the centre circle, giving it to Hurst. Another decent layoff from Hurst. So he's playing with a lot more confidence now. George Hurst, the simple things working out for him. O'Shea, just walking pace, now stands on the ball inside his half, the captain. O'Shea looking for the ball forward to Hurst, unlucky. Well read by the Hull back line. It was Egan who headed it away. And now Hull have a throw at left back.
Yeah, this is slightly different for the Town back four because they've got three players to work against, both without the ball and with the ball, you know. So Kipri and O'Shea, normally they don't have so many players around them, but tonight they might be a little bit stifled, and our two centre midfield players might find that they have markers as well.
Accidental handball from Matusiwa. The referee says play on. Hurst has curled the ball to the far side, and Greaves still being booed by one or two. On the far side, Clark giving the ball to Matusiwa. Now O'Shea in the centre circle. Town have worked it from left to right. Furlong down this near touchline to Sindrawalla Eggley. He comes in field, looks up. Instead of playing it into the area, has gone via Matusiwa to O'Shea. 0-0. 12.5 minutes played live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Kipre dinking a little ball into the box just over the top of Hurst, and it's gone back to Pandor.
Yeah, I'm just really intrigued about the centre midfield there, you know, where we've got Taylor and Matazuwa against Crooks and Slater, and the one that can, if he's sensible, is Nunes. He can find a lot of freedom because nobody's particularly marking him. One of the centre-backs tries to come out. If Nunes goes too far forward, he'll be marked by one of the centre-backs. But if he stays a bit deeper, he can pick up an awful lot of the ball.
Slater puts the ball through the middle, but all the way back to Walton, and we're still to see a goal. Sergei Yakirovich having a chat to one of his assistants down below us, the Hull City manager, Bosnian centre-half in his day. Now his 8th club in 7 years, done a remarkable job with Hull City. They only stayed up on the final day last season, down to goal difference. Hull, what a turnaround. None of their fans could have ever dreamt that they'd be in this kind of position in the championship table in early March. Hurst trying to get away from Egan. It's a good battle. Egan closed him down. Town have won though. Another corner kick inside the first quarter of an hour. Yeah,
and that was made possible by the fact that McNair came out of the back three to mark Nunes, and that allowed that space to develop down the side for George Hurst to run into, and we've won the corner kick from that move.
Corner kick to Ipswich Town, off to our right-hand side. We're still 0-0 after 14.5 minutes under the lights at Portman Road in this big championship game. The only midweek one there is this time around. Ball headed in beyond the far post, kept alive. It's gone out of play for a corner kick. Greaves did ever so well to recycle it and make something of that. Corner kick over in the far right corner now that Nunez is going to be taken.
Yeah, the referee seems to be talking a lot to Dara O'Shea. I'm not sure quite what it's about.
Yeah, he is. Furlong also involved. Furlong, like Matusiwa, on 9 yellows now, incidentally. Mehmeti on 8. Game 37 is the cut-off for a ban to come in after 10 yellows. Nunez on this corner kick by the Hull fans into the near post, headed away by Drame. Two Ipswich Town players go for the same ball. Miller goes away. Was he held up by Hurst? No, says the referee. Miller's complaining. The ball's inside the Ipswich half with Azo Matusiwa. Nice to speak to him for the first time at the weekend. Azo, been an excellent acquisition by Ipswich Town. And he's got the ball in the central defensive area at the moment, whilst O'Shea gets himself back there. Kipre gives the ball to Matusiwa. Now O'Shea comes in field inside the Ipswich Town half. Draws in Kumas, gives it to Clark. Lovely touch from Clark. First time onto Greaves. Greaves cuts in field. Good sliding challenge by Drame. Greaves took too long on the ball. Gelhardt's first involvement in the game, I think, pretty much gets it back to Slater. Slater with a switch of play, looking for Miller. It's inch perfect. Miller's touch allows Furlong to snap into a challenge and play the ball out.
I was going to say that was our ball as well.
Yeah, it's come off Miller to throw to Furlong. Right on the halfway line. Few spare seats around Portman Road tonight, not capacity. Oh, Taylor lost the ball between his feet. In was Kumas. Now Slater crosses halfway. Dramé wants it to his right-hand side. He's given it to Gelhardt, who was so impressive earlier on the season when these two sides met. He gets it to Kumas inside the area. Kumas tried to square it from the dead ball line, but he's taken it out behind for a goal kick.
Well, that's a couple of times that they've sort of, worked the ball sort of close to our penalty area and actually inside our penalty area. And they should really have done better on both occasions, but they haven't.
17 gone. Furlong gets up to the halfway line. Clark wants the ball far side. Hurst through the middle. Furlong's gone back to O'Shea. And now it's with Walton in the D in front of the North Stand. Town back here on Saturday, remember. Leicester City in the bottom three in an almighty state, the Foxes. Full match commentary, matched on air from 2. Clark with a flick on header from the goal kick to Hurst. Hurst bundled to the ground by Hughes. Referee in a good position again, awards Town the free kick. Matusiwa takes the free kick quickly to Nunez. Furlong has it now. Matusiwa into the centre circle. And Dara O'Shea still 0-0 in the 7:45 kickoff. Matusiwa up to Taylor. His lay off to Hurst isn't good enough. Town get it back. Lovely spin from Taylor. Oh, what a goal that would have been. It's not far away at all. He hit it from about 17 yards. He just got into the area. Lovely bit of skill from him to set himself up, and he wasn't far away.
No, it's an unusual position for him to be in. It's almost like he's our centre forward, and it comes to his feet and he turns, one touch, he turns himself around and gets the ball in a position to strike, in one move. Excellent player. Sometimes you would like to see George Hurst do that. That was terrific skill. One touch and shot. Could have scored.
Yeah, it would have been a lovely goal from Taylor. Just got the one so far this season. It was a lovely assist for Athon at Wrexham the other Saturday from Taylor, should I say. A good season when needed. Hurst, that's a really good header back to Nunez. Nunez outnumbered 4-on-1 almost. Egley briefly won the ball back for Town, but McNair has it now for Coyle. Town pressing well. Slater getting back for Hull. Hull clear it up towards Kumas, getting no joy whatsoever out of O'Shea at the moment. He's 20. Lewis Kumas, a learning exercise for him as O'Shea finds Greaves. Greaves' header is enjoyed by the Hull fans. It's gone out behind their goalkeeper's net.
Yeah, he had a little bit of space of his own, Jacob Greaves, but what he didn't have was sort of colleagues close to him, so it wasn't that he could head the ball, but he had nobody to head the ball to, so it sort of just harmlessly gone for a goal kick to Hull. At the moment, I think we're probing quite nicely. They look threatening on the breakaway, but at the moment I'd say we're in charge of the game so far.
Egley's lost the ball. Let's hope you haven't tempted fate. Crooks to Miller outside the area. Hull have it with Miller. Miller turns and gets right underneath his shot and it flies over the bar. Goal kick to Christian Walton, obviously trying to keep his third successive clean sheet. There he is now, playing it out short to Dara O'Shea at the back. No goals from either side with exactly 20 on the clock. Furlong knocks it long up towards Hurst. Hurst back to Matusiwa. He goes square to Taylor, who helps it on his way to Greaves. This looks nice. Greaves has carried the ball forward 15 yards, given it to Clark. Clark touches it back to Taylor. Taylor over the top, looking for Hurst. Unlucky. Hurst generously puts the thumbs up to his midfielder, but it's fizzed out behind.
No, I wouldn't be giving him the thumbs up there. I'd be giving him a little bit of a roasting. I think that was an awful pass and it was unnecessary. But they do that nowadays, don't they? They clap each other and
they're nicer than they were in your day.
They're much nicer.
Lovely bunch of lads. 21 minutes on the clock.
Lovely boys.
Lovely boys. Here is Pandor. Already he and one of his centre-halves getting a bit of grief for supposed time wasting. They have taken a little bit of time over their last two goal kicks as Greaves goes back to Walton. It's a bit of a shame Greaves getting booed by a handful of Hull fans. Loves the club, came through their ranks, did some sterling work for Hull, generated the club an awful lot of money and went to a Premier League club, it has to be said, when he eventually moved on. As Kipre has the ball, almost had a little stumble on it, which alerted Gelhardt, but Kipper in the end was able to play it out fairly comfortably. A few of the Town subs out near side, that's why we might hear a bit of applause. Clark hasn't really done it yet as an attacking threat. Crooks trips him in the middle of the field. Challenge and a foul that would probably warrant a yellow card in the second half, but not this time, just a free kick to Ipswich.
Yeah, I think the referee will keep number 25 in his mind for later on.
Every chance. Decent player, Crooks, who's had a good career at this level, played for likes of Rotherham and Middlesbrough. He's in America for a little while, Matt Crooks.
He's very tall for a centre midfield player.
He's done well here in the past, and I think there was very strong links. I think Paul Cook wanted to sign him in that summer, the Demolition Man summer. He was linked to Town then. Would have been a classic Paul Cook signing as well. As Greaves can't get a hold of that ball from Clark. Clark asked too much of the left back. Yeah, if you went with us earlier on, 5 changes for Town tonight. Greaves, Taylor, Eggerly, Clark and Hurst all in for Davis, Neal, Athon, Burns and Mehmeti, all 5 of them on the bench, so no injury problems there. Ben Johnson once again the odd man out. This is the 9th game incidentally Jayden Philogene has missed.
Yeah, and when he walked off as if there wasn't really very much wrong with him.
Well, he kind of had a bit of a setback in the last couple of weeks in terms of his recovery. Actually, he played for Hull, so too did Greaves and Delap, actually, the last time that Hull were here. We're all in that Liam Rossignol side. Walton. It's 3-0 to Town on that occasion. Burns, Chaplin and Harness 2 years ago. There is Cedric Kipre, giving it to Azor Matusiwa, trying to shake off the attentions of Kumas. He does, pushes it into a gap in midfield. Clark quickly gets through the gears. Clark running towards the Hull area, comes back off of him, has it? No, it's come off a Hull defender. Hull cleared it off their own man in the eyes of the referee. It's another corner to Town.
Yeah, it's a good sort of positive run by Jack Clark. He wasn't going to get through, but in the end he's won a corner kick, so that's good enough.
Nunez is being applauded by the far right corner of the Sir Ralph Ramsey stand as he goes across the number 32 to take this 4th corner for Ipswich Town. Kipre and Furlong inside the 6-yard area. Hurst, Clark, Greaves and O'Shea round about the penalty spot, and it comes from Nunez. Looks a good one. It was Greaves who got his head on it, couldn't direct it towards goal. Hull, what can they do in the counter-attack? Miller's got the ball, but he's got no support. Matusiwa goes across to hold him up, doesn't dive in, which is exactly the right thing. Miller with a switch, he's done very well to find Kumas. Kumas controls it well outside the Ipswich Town area. Hull on the prowl with Coyle. On the left-hand side now, it's Miller. Shapes to cross, pulls it back. Most players back behind the ball for Town. In fact, all 10 are there now, and it comes from Coyle towards the far post. McBurney would have fancied that, but he's on the bench. He goes over the top of Gelhardt for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think we've got to do some honest work when Hull City win the ball and they sort of go on a counter-attack, because they do it quite well. They haven't really sort of created chances from it so far, but we've got to have honest people.
Matusiwa's lost the ball. Crooks for Hull outside the Ipswich area, playing a ball behind Gelhardt. It's neither one thing nor the other. And thankfully that move broke down on 25 minutes 0-0.
Why he didn't go out to Dramer on the right-hand side, I don't know. Much better pass, would have created far more. He was trying to be too clever.
They're lively, this front 3-4 Hull. Miller, Kumas, Gelhardt. Ipswich with the ball on Greaves. Greaves in field to Taylor. Taylor first time to Clark, who does likewise. Missed by Hurst. Crooks. Hull have it at centre half with McNair, another one with lots of championship experience with with Sunderland and Middlesbrough. Started his career at Manchester United, the Northern Ireland international. Headed away by Greaves. Taylor miscontrols the ball, but it drops nicely for Clark. Clark, one thing in his mind, that's to run the ball in field. Then he goes square to Furlong. Furlong puts it through the legs of Miller. Home crowd enjoyed that. And then calmly gives it to Matusiwa. Matusiwa shows too much of the ball, but he was being fouled by Slater. Matusiwa takes the free kick quickly to Taylor. Taylor runs into his international colleague Egan. Egan gets the ball back from Miller. Tries to switch play Egan, but he was off balance, and he curled it behind Kumas to Kipre. The crowd getting behind Ipswich Town.
Yeah, it's a tight affair, and we're going to need the supporters. We are really, because this isn't going to go completely our way.
Greaves still goalless, plays it back to Kipre on the halfway line. Every kick of every Ipswich Town match on BBC Radio Suffolk. After Leicester, it's back-to-back away, Stoke and then Sheffield Wednesday for Ipswich Town. Here is Cedric Kipre. All 11 of the Hull players behind the ball. They're not now. Town have broken through them. Hughes gets there ahead of Greaves. Hughes brought in really as Greaves' replacement the summer before last. Kipre finds O'Shea in the centre of the Hull half. Via Furlong, Town get it to the right, and Eggerly trying to get away from a very experienced Coyle. Chuba Agpom just walking back to the Ipswich Town bench. That was his first goal when Town beat Hull earlier on this season. Matusiwa to Nunez. Nunez with a switch of play looking for Clark. Clark's got to judge the bounce. It was an awkward one. It's bounced just over his head through to Hull.
Well, as that was travelling towards him, I thought if you let this bounce, it'll beat you.
Yeah.
And he needed to step forward and control the ball on the half volley, if you like. Just trap the ball. It was always going to go over his head. I don't know what he was thinking about.
Throw that Drame is going to take for Hull underneath their travelling support. Greaves heads the ball forward, far touchline, nodded on by Crooks, but only to Matusiwa. Matusiwa gives it to Nunez. Nunez loses the ball to McNair. Well done, Paddy McNair. Along the deck to Gelhardt. Gelhardt back to Drame. Now it's with Hughes just inside his own area. He plays it to the left side in Coyle. Coyle up to halfway and Crooks taller than Furlong, heads it on to Miller. Miller's got the better of O'Shea and he's trying to score from 40 yards. He's missed by a mile.
No, it was never on. Christian Walton was off his line, but not by that much, playing maybe about 8 yards, but he never really had it under control to start with, to really sort of attempt such a thing.
Playing in Swiss football, Miller, before he joined Hull, but we've seen him play against Ipswich in the past from the likes of Preston and Charlton. Here is Clark cutting in from the far touchline into the centre of the Hull half. We're still 0-0. He's given the ball now to Furlong. Got about 16 minutes to see a first half goal in this game between the two sides, currently 4th and 5th in the Championship table. Given away by Taylor. The win would take either into 3rd place above Millwall. Miller, that's a lovely ball from back to front for Hull. Miller, one-on-one with Furlong inside the Ipswich Town area. Has a go, blocked away by Furlong. Comes towards Gelhardt, the shot from Slater. Deflects off an Ipswich Town player. Half-hearted appeal for a penalty not given. Again, Hull a threat on the break. The ball goes out of play. I think it's going to be a free kick at the back for Ipswich Town after all of that.
Yeah, it looked a lovely pass inside Donnell Furlong, but I thought he just got caught a little bit. I thought he could have done better than he did, but there was a little bit of an opportunity there for Hull, really.
Pretty much half an hour gone. Our latest full match commentary on BBC Radio Suffolk. No goals so far tonight, as Walton has the ball back inside his penalty area. Of course, Town with just the one defeat here all season. That one against Charlton, of course, still remains the only midweek fixture in the EFL that Kieran McKenna's ever lost in charge of Ipswich Town. O'Shea. No direction on that whatsoever. Plenty pace, but it's straight back to Pandor inside the Hull penalty area.
Yeah, it's interesting. This first look I've had at the stats, and I can't believe that Ipswich actually has 73% possession, but there's not been a shot on target, so that's interesting. So there's nothing really being created. The only other stat I quite like is that we've had 11 touches inside their penalty area. They've only had 4 inside ours.
Good strong running from Greaves, then outnumbered. Hull known for a side that have very little possession. It's so rare that in any Hull game that they have the bulk of the possession. As Hull give the ball away, Taylor into the centre to Hurst. What a chance, but straight at Pandor. That should have been goal number 1 and the 3rd game in a row for George Hurst.
Well, when Hull was sort of overindulging on the ball over that far side, I thought they're going to get themselves in trouble, and they did. And it was a chance for George Hurst.
Kumas has done well against O'Shea, but eventually toe pokes it out far side, thrown to Ipswich Town. That's livened up the crowd. Throw from Clark to Hurst. Hurst didn't react quickly enough to that opportunity coming, didn't see it coming his way. A couple of diving challenges on the far side by a Hull player. Free kick eventually given for the one on Greaves by the looks of things. It's a free kick in a good crossing position for Town.
Yeah, I think I've just seen the chance of George Hurst. He's tried to go with the type of goal he scored in the last game where he just steers the ball in, and I don't think this one warranted that type of finish. I think it warranted a little bit more pace on it.
Free kick to Ipswich Town over on the far side, their left. They're attacking the goal off to our right for the next 13 minutes of this first half. Still 0-0 on BBC Radio Suffolk. Egerly and Nunez over this set piece. Forward comes the Chilean Nunez, in it goes, bounces away as far as Clark. Clark pushes it back to Matusiwa, the deepest lying blue shirt. He goes square to Nunez, who's joined him in the centre circle. Nunez eventually gets the ball forward. Egerly with a terrible header straight at Slater. Slater to the left-hand side of Miller. The referee's blown up. Ooh, what's that for? Offside? Town get the ball back. They take the free kick quickly. Well, missed opportunity that for Hull. Back it goes to Matusiwa. Now O'Shea. Kipre, best chance of the game, that one, just to George Hurst a few moments ago. Cedric Kipre. Square to Furlong inside the Hull half. Furlong puts the studs of his right boot on top of the ball. Once again, Kipre has it. He rolls it square to his captain. Furlong again. Egerly plays it off Nunez. Can't link up with him. Crooks brings the ball away. Tries to play it forward for Kumas. Kumas tries to wrestle O'Shea to the ground. O'Shea's gone down. The referee's played on. That's controversial. Kumas inside the Ipswich area has come off Matusiwa and gone out for Hull's first corner kick. And Dara O'Shea staring at the referee and asking what was that all about.
Yeah, I think it was controversial as well. I think that was pretty much straightforward. Too heavy a challenge, really. And it was such an important one. I mean, he's almost gone clear.
Yeah, Kumas could have done better. He did well to wrestle the ball off of O'Shea. He didn't do enough with it when he got inside the Ipswich Town area again. This is Hull's first corner kick with exactly 34 minutes of this game played, 0-0. Got a few players inside that penalty area off to our left-hand side, about 6 of them. In comes the corner kick. Headed away well, out as far as Miller. So Hull regained possession. Now with Slater. Slater to the left-hand side. Infield. Egan stretches and can't link up with Miller. Goal kick Town.
Yeah, I think they got that all wrong. When the third player joined in there, there was an overlap going, and that was good enough for me. Just leave those two alone. One on the ball, one making the overlap. Didn't need the third player. They brought the third player into it, and it confused them all.
10 minutes to go until half-time. Kipre plays the ball up towards Nunez. Closed down successfully by Crooks, but it's gone out to Furlong. The Town still keep the attack alive. Hurst fires a ball at Egerly that Egerly's done very well to control. Then he rolls infield, brought down by Coyle. Free kick and a yellow card for the captain of Hull, the first one of the evening.
Yeah, he did well, Egerly, to control that ball. That was an awful pass, it really was. It's far too much pace on it, but Egerly just dealt with it, killed the pace of the ball and then got it under control, which probably surprised Coyle. And consequently he comes in far too late and gets the yellow card.
Nunez is on this long-range free kick for Ipswich Town. 9.5 minutes of the first half to go. I'll have 9 of their players pretty much in a line along the edge of the box off to our right. There's a one-man wall. Miller in front of this. Nunez takes this free kick, puts it towards Greaves, deep inside the area, comes down to O'Shea. O'Shea hooks it into the middle, headed away by Crooks, brought down by Clark. Didn't have time to do anything with it. In came the challenge of Drame. Now Matusiwa, picking up his usual position on the centre spot. Taylor, out to the far side, and Clark rolling the ball under his right boot, trying to get away from Gelhardt. The two were colleagues at Sunderland. Clark's brought down. Free kick once more for Ipswich.
This is a better position.
Yeah.
The other one wasn't bad. It had a good angle on it, but we pushed it too far wide. You know, it's one of those ones where you've got to have another touch before you create a chance. This one is good. You know, this can be put into the danger zone, and it'll be touch and go whether it's a Hull player or a Town player that gets on the end of it.
Clumsy challenge from Gelhardt. Nunez on this free kick in the right back area outside the Hull penalty area off to our right hand side, and it comes from a great ball punched away by the flying Pandor as far as Eggley nods it into the area, headed away by Crooks, flick on header by Kumas. Nunez takes it on his chest, then his thigh out to the left hand side. In comes the cross towards Greaves in the middle, still bouncing around there, and it bounces back to the Hull goalkeeper Pandor.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure. The ball could have fallen kindly for us, but it didn't. Hull have defended it well in the end.
0-0 at half-time when these two sides last met. 8 minutes away from history repeating itself. I wouldn't imagine there'd be much added on time. Minute maximum. McNair. There is Crooks back in a central defensive area. Now with Egan, coming up to the Premier League with Sheffield United, was a key player for United for a few seasons. Ball forward towards Kumas, trying to run away from O'Shea. He's gone square immediately into the area. Furlong's there ahead of Miller. Eggley misses the ball. In will step McNair. McNair's caught by Eggley, just holding his left Achilles.
Yeah, they continue to get into some good positions. You know, they did again there, but they didn't actually sort of develop it. That's the problem they have, really. You know, they defend okay. They break okay, they get in some good areas, but they don't quite create the chance that would give them a goal.
A couple of players down, actually. McNair's got up the quicker. Coyle still on the deck. I think in amongst that, Sergei Yakirovich, the Hull City manager, just got a yellow card, obviously saying too much. Matt Crooks having a little word with the referee. Yeah, it's Coyle, the captain, who was down. McCarthy on the bench. Well, for Mayo would be potential changes with a little bit of a rejig if Coyle had to come off. Not looking overly concerned at the moment. Sergei Yakirovich and Dean Holden, who we heard from earlier on. Town players across, having a little bit of a drinks break. Kieran McKenna particularly keen to speak to Jack Clark by the looks of things. Still 0-0 as the referee again is having a word with Sergei Yakirovich, just reminding him to keep his emotions in check, perhaps. Nunez and Matthew C were also in conversation at the moment. I mentioned earlier on that Hull have got a huge game against Millwall this coming weekend. Coventry are at Bristol City. Middlesbrough again don't play on Saturday. They have kickoffs all over the place, Middlesbrough. They're at QPR on Sunday. So some interesting fixtures. And Town's next opponents at that stage, Stoke, are away to Swansea. It's going to be a change made here. I think that's it for Coyle. It is for Mayo, who played left back. He's a centre-half, really, for Mayo. Played left back at the weekend, and if it's a like-for-like switch, all of a sudden he's going to have to become a flying left wing-back for the remainder of this game. There's a big blow for Hull. They're already without their number one choice left-back. That's Ryan Giles, who was excellent at the start of the season, receiving rave reviews, particularly for his link-up with Ollie McBurney. A lot of McBurney's goals were being created down the left for Hull. They've been without Giles for a little while. And this is another problem in that area with Coyle's night seemingly up. When play eventually resumes, it'll be a free kick on the halfway line. As you can hear, the Town fans not overly sympathetic, getting a little bit narked now. You can understand why, because Coyle's very close to the near touchline. The referee kind of saying that, come on, let's get him off the field, deal with it. He's not going to play on here and get on with the game. He's up on his feet, Coyle. He's been heavily supported by two members of the medical staff. Confirmation that the only player so far in a yellow card is making way, and for Mayo, one of the players that led the exodus from Hillsborough last summer. Now at snail's pace, Coyle's walking off unaided, but has handed over the armband to Crooks. Well, there's going to be more than a minute added on now at the end of this half. Vermeer was on the field, had a little time at Norwich very early on in his career, Akin Vermeer. So McNair, as we're about to get back underway, 3.5 minutes to go until half time. Understandably, fans frustrated. McNair pacing back into the away technical area down below us. Kind of got a very high line defending this free kick. McNair puts it forward. Should be Kipre's and is not the best of headers. It's gone square. Nodded away well by Furlong. Out as far as Slater. Slater gives it to McNair, who's closed down by Eggerly. Drame arrows the ball out to the far side, looking for Gelhardt. Takes it on his chest and his left knee. Back to the halfway line, and Hughes. Pandor outside his area. McNair belts it forward. Furlong, little nod down, finds Matusiwa. Loses the ball to Slater. Good challenge from Slater on Matusiwa. Miller runs the ball to the edge of the Ipswich area. To the left-hand side, Kumas in front of the North stand. Offside again.
Oh, he should not be offside.
Poor from Hull. Very poor, but we're all very grateful.
I think Miller's a lively player. He hasn't quite gone and done what he should do, but he's getting himself into some good positions. He's giving Darnell Furlong a tough old night.
Here is O'Shea to Taylor. He's gone quiet. To Clark. Clark wriggles away from one challenge. Slater wins the ball really well, time and time again for Hull. It's really been noticeable. He's taken the ball off a few Ipswich Town players now, Regan Slater. O'Shea to Matusiwa. Final 2 minutes of normal time at the end of the first half. Picked out a good pass to Greaves as Matusiwa. Now Clark overlapping Greaves, wide left outside the Hull area. Gets the ball back to Clark. Infield to Taylor, 30 yards from the Hull net. He crosses it, headed away by Egan, nodded down by Matusiwa to Furlong. Town trying to have a final push forward for a first half goal. Furlong puts it behind the left wing back for Maywo. It's seen out by McNair. Goal kick to Hull.
Yeah, well, we said this would be a tighter game than the Swansea one, and we've certainly got that right, because this is a tough game, and we've got to be really patient. We've got to have perfect concentration at the back, because I think that Hull can hit you on the counter attack, and we mustn't make it any easier for them there. But we've got to, just work really hard. Our forward players have got to be really, on top of their job, to create the good chance that we desperately need.
Again, Pandor deemed to be wasting time in the eyes of the home crowd. O'Shea with a good forceful header forward, nodded up in the air by Hughes before Hurst. Belted forward now to play by McNair. Millwall fans will be happy with this current scoreline between two of their playoff rivals. Now it's with Walton. Of course, all three clubs still dreaming of automatic promotion. Taylor back to Walton. This is one of Town's games in hand, of course. Matusiwa shouts of man on, because Kumas is herring after him. He's doing likewise with Furlong. Furlong challenged by Kumas. The ball goes up towards Miller. Furlong's away from home. Miller up against O'Shea inside the Ipswich area, tries to go square. O'Shea's done ever so well. Good work from the captain, then he plays it off Miller. Fine defending from Dara O'Shea. Yeah,
it was good defending. In actual fact, he really dictated to Miller there, but again, it's Miller who's sort of taking the game to Town defensively. He's got good initial control and he's got good pace.
Nunez, good ball out to the left-hand side. Clark, one-on-one with Hughes momentarily, because back comes Drame to double up on Clark. Greaves has run in front of him. Clark's had to go back to the midway part of the Hull half. Cedric Kipre. First minute of the added on 4 at the end of this half. Fans a little bit frustrated in general at the moment with this one. Furlong to Eggerly on the right hand side, up against the makeshift left back for Maywo. Eggerly gets the dead ball line, plays it off for Maywo, wins a corner for Town, their 5th of this half. It's about time they did something with one of these.
Yeah, they need to, really. A great time to score.
Yeah, it's all the rage in the Premier League corner kick goals. Quite a debating point at the moment, particularly off the back of Arsenal-Chelsea at the weekend. Let's see what Town can do from their latest corner kick. Nunez is on it. It's their 5th of the half. We're in added on time, and it comes low. It's met everyone until it reaches Miller. Miller clears onto the chest of Matthew Siwa. Matthew Siwa guides the ball to the right-hand side. Nunez controls it. In comes his cross, volleyed away by McNair. Kumas tried a little trick to come off Nunez for a throw-in.
Yeah, there's much more fresh air in the 6-yard box for the corners tonight than there was in that Chelsea and Arsenal game, and so really you would rather, I think you'd rather have that where you've got a little bit of space to run into, but we haven't really done it tonight.
Headed away from the back by Egan, collected by Taylor. Nunez for Ipswich Town, trying to find Hurst, hit away by a stumbling McNair. Vermeer was beaten by Egley, who he catches late. Trying to clear the ball, Egley was too quick for him. Egley's gone down, Town have a free kick wide right.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I haven't really had enough of a chance to look at Fenerwo, but he might just be a little bit suspect, really, playing in that position for them.
Yeah, he's bound to be. It is something hopefully Ipswich Town can capitalise on. Nunez over this free kick. I'll have a line of players going through the penalty spot off to our right hand side. The one-man wall is Miller in the way. Town trying to get the opening goal of this big game in the Championship playoff places. Nunez with the delivery. It's a great ball, well defended by Hull. That was excellent from the Chilean, his best free kick for a while.
Yeah, and that's where I like the ball to be targeted there, because okay, you're going to have a line of players across there. It'll probably be blue shirt, yellow, gold shirt, blue shirt, gold shirt, but you just got to play on a little bit of hope that it actually lands on a blue-shirted player. If it does, he'll head it in the back of the net easily from 6 yards.
About 30 seconds of this first half to go as Hull clear to the halfway line. Strong header forward from O'Shea, likewise from Hughes. Matthew Siwa brings the ball down for Taylor. Greaves gives it to Clark, who plays it off Gelhardt into the lower tier of the cobbled stand opposite. Through to Jacob Greaves. Looking more and more likely the first half's going to be goalless unless Town can do something now. Sindra Waller-Egerly down the right hand side against Vermeer, who's just on the field, gets away from Vermeer, who bites back. There were 3-on-1 though. Crooks and Miller came back to help Vermeer in the last piece of action at the end of this goalless first half at Portman Road.
Yeah, it's just been one of those games, isn't it? You know, we do so often here have that luxury of taking an early lead, you know, at home, and it really does help you. It does a tremendous amount, you know, of good, you know, and tonight we haven't been able to have that. You know, we've done okay. We've had masses of possession. We really have, you know, far more than what you would expect in a game of this calibre. But we haven't really been able to create that really good chance against Hull that you know, you would sort of reflect on it and say, well, we should have scored there and perhaps there and perhaps there. You know, it hasn't been one of those games. We've been sort of pushing them back. We've been very patient, but we haven't had anybody. I mean, Egerly is starting at this present moment to sort of get a little bit at Vermeer, who is a substitute on playing at left wing back. But, you know, but before that happened, I didn't think he really got much joy out of Coyle. Jack Clark hasn't really been as creative as he normally is over on the left-hand side. We've missed, I think, Leif Davis's strong runs down the left-hand side. I think that Greaves does a good job whenever he comes in, but I'm not sure whether it's been a night for him at the moment. So we miss Leif Davis. I just want Nunez. He looks to me as if he's got that free role that he must love to have. You know, the only person that's really coming out to try and mark him as much as he can is Paddy McNair, and, you know, who's playing left centre back, and he can only come so far. So that's where Nunez has got to sort of play cat and mouse with him. You know, he's got to, bring him out, because that only leaves two centre backs back there to deal with George Hurst. But also try and get yourself a little bit of freedom as well, so you can receive the ball, you can get turned around, and you can run at the Hull City defence. I think it's just one of those games. We've got to be patient in what we do going forward. We've got to work hard to create the chances. Defensively, I think we've got to be really, really, truly switched on, because this team can break. They can get the counter-attack going on you. The one that I like for that most of all, really, is Liam Miller on the left-hand side. I think he's very positive with his running. He seems to get into areas where he can receive it. He gets it under control. He runs at our defence, but he doesn't seem to sort of develop it from that moment. Perhaps he needs people to run from behind him to get a supporting role, but he hasn't really created anywhere near the amount of chances or possibilities that he should have done. So we've got to be good at the back without question. We've just got to be a little bit more creative up front as well.
Yeah, very tight this one, which is what we probably expected, given that these two sides are 4th and 5th and level on points in the Championship table as well. The midway stage of Ipswich Town versus Hull City on BBC Radio Suffolk. It's 0-0.
It's the only game in the Championship tonight. Bristol City are in FA Cup 4th round action. They're goalless at the break away at Port Vale. In the Premier League, second half's underway at Bournemouth. They're 0-0 with Brentford. At Everton, who lead Burnley 1-0, and at Ellen Road, where it's Leeds 0, Sunderland 0. 24 gone in the 8:15 kick-off. Wolves 0, Liverpool 0, the later score. It's half-time in our non-league games of note locally in the Southern Premier League Central Division. Needham Market trailing 2-0 away at Real Bedford. We'll check in on Eden Hannigan at Bury Town shortly. But let's go to the Martello ground. Felixstowe Walter United hoping to regain top spot in the Isthmian North Division this evening. But, Nick, if they're to do that, they're going to need one almighty comeback.
Yes, it's Felixstowe Walter United 0, Tilbury 2. And 2 goals from Dan Trendle have left the out-of-sorts Seasiders with a mountain to climb if they are to return to the top of the table. Although Felixstowe started on the front foot, it didn't take long before Tilbury were causing them problems. Harry Wright beat away a Salmon Nandy drive before the same player stretched the home team's defence with a good run inside the box to the byline. Joe Elliott's long throws from either side of the pitch into the Seasiders' penalty area were a real cause for concern, and it was no more than Tilbury deserved when they went ahead midway through the half. Kieran Jones sent over a cross from the left, and Trendle sent his header beyond right and inside the far post. Tilbury doubled their advantage in the 42nd minute when Nandy got away from Toby Stevenson on the right and squared the ball across the face of goal for Trendle to tuck home. Half-time at the Martello ground, Felixstowe Walter United 0, Tilbury 2.
Yeah, bad night for Suffolk so far in the Isthmian North. So Felixstowe and Walton trailing. Mildenhall 1-0 down away at Takeley. Lowestoft Town at Gary Button. My oh my, 3 down.
Yes, Graham, half-time here at the Crown Meadow. Lowestoft Town 0, Walthamstow 3. An awful first 45 for the Trawler boys, who have a mighty task now to get something from this game. The Suffolk side were 2-0 down by the 8th minute. Walthamstow's Brian Garzon scored direct from a corner in the 4th through a crowded 6-yard box. Lowestoft keeper Ethan Binney completely losing his bearings. And 4 minutes later, the Trawler boys' Ashton Blogg was dispossessed on the edge of his own penalty area, and Garzon again fired in for number 2. Lowestoft's Henry Pollock drilled at the visitors' keeper David Hughes moments later, and then some promising Trawler boys' build-up play was always let down by the final ball. Robert Eagle's goal-bound effort deflected for what then was a series of corners, and Ben Atkinson too saw his effort deflect for another flag kick. Walthamstow, though always dangerous, very physical, and on a half hour, Garzon completed his hat-trick. A push in the area, and up stepped their leading scorer to score from the penalty spot, despite Binney going the right way. Some serious words no doubt will be spoken at half-time in the changing room. At the break, Lowestoft Town 0, Walthamstow 3.
And from Crown Meadow to Ram Meadow on BBC Radio Suffolk, let's join Eden Hannigan watching Bury Town at home to Quorn in the Southern Premier League. Eden.
It's half-time here and it's Bury Town 1, Quorn 1. Honestly, Graham, I was expecting to come to you waxing lyrical about a dominant first-half performance from Cole Scousey's Bury Town. The hosts were excellent from the very first minute and thought they were going to end the half ahead thanks to a Jamie McGrath header, but Quorn made sure that the sides went in level at the break thanks to a Simeon Coburn equaliser. Like I said, Bury did make a very fast start to this opening half because just 2 minutes in, the home side could and maybe should have got their first goal. Tommy Hughes plays McGrath in behind the Quorn back line, and the forward was one-on-one with the keeper, but Adam Harrison produced a great save with his feet to prevent an early breakthrough for Bury. In the 20th minute of the match, the hosts also had a goal ruled out for offside. The fans around me were so disappointed because it was an audacious no-look flick from Max Morn to find McGrath in the box. But unfortunately, from the Suffolk side's perspective, the whistle had gone before the ball found the back of the net, so it did not stand. But it was in the 31st minute when the hosts got their well-deserved breakthrough. Ali Conway played a fantastic cross-pitch pass out to Mikey Davis on the left-hand side, and the winger put in a simple cross into the Quorn box. McGrath was on the end of it in the very centre of the box, and he headed the ball past Harrison to make it 1-0 to Bury Town. However, Quorn did look so much better after going a goal down, and they found themselves level in the 38th minute. Leicestershire's side turned defence into attack, and Simeon Coburn converted the counter past Ryan Dunn and into the back of the Bury Town net. Coburn did, however, get injured after scoring the equaliser, and although he did try to play on, he was forced off 5 minutes after the goal and replaced by Jack Duffy. To be honest, it did come completely against the run of play, that equaliser. Although Quorn got better as the half progressed, Bury looked completely dominant and completely really in control. They did have a shot just before the half-time whistle and they saw it saved, but Cole Stews and his men will be so disappointed to go into this one level at the break because despite a dominant spell, it's half-time here. Bury Town 1, Quorn 1.
Thanks, Eden. Quick break from football. When we return in just a moment, we'll hear from one of the Ipswich Witches' new signings. The full lineup announced yesterday.
Wayne Babin at breakfast.
Let's chat boxing then. And Suffolk's heavyweight champion of the world, Fabio Wardley, says he's really looking forward to the first defence of his WBO belt.
I'm not really one to kind of pick the easy route. I like to throw myself in kind of full steam ahead and take on a real challenge.
There's been a bit of a baby boom at Balham Rare Breeds Farm. They're celebrating 2 newborn alpacas.
We've had a lot of It Looks Like ET, and the staff have all been really excited as well because, you know, this is only our 3rd and 4th cria to be born on the farm.
Wayne Babin at breakfast. Weekdays from 6. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Suffolk.
Ipswich Town 0, Hull City 0, and our main feature on BBC Radio Suffolk this evening. We're back with Brenner and Mick for the second half very shortly. Tim in Barningham says competitive half, but we'll need to test their keeper in the second if we're going to gain the points. Jack Clark rather quiet. Andy from Elmswell says please get Mehmeti, Davis, Athon and Burns on ASAP, not after 70 minutes. The starting lineup hasn't worked. We need goals. Big news for Speedway fans in the county yesterday morning as this year's Ipswich Witches lineup was announced. It followed confirmation over the weekend that the club had new owners in the shape of Mayfield Sports Management. Captain Danny King, Tom Brennan and rising star Jason Edwards all return from last year's Premiership title-winning side. They're joined by Richard Lawson and Polish racer Tobias Muzelak, with Swedish sensation Philip Hemmelstrom Bangs making his British League debut. The squad is completed by former Foxhall favourite and 7-time British champion Scott Nicholls.
Obviously, I was, like a lot of people, probably quite shocked when we saw the club was up for sale. But obviously, you know, the Ipswich Speedway has sort of been synonymous with the Louis family for such a long time. And off the back of such a successful season, you always kind of think, geez, you didn't expect that. But, you know, these things kind of take a while, don't they? It's all the paperwork and the rigmarole behind the scenes. And obviously, I know Chris and the rest of the management were kind of keen to try and get some news out there to the fans. Because obviously, it was a worrying time. But obviously, with these things, a lot of it's out of your hands, so you're kind of just waiting for them to get their work done before you can properly announce things. Well, obviously now it's here, it's been announced, and I think everyone's excited. I think they put together a great looking team, and just think everybody just wants to get started now.
Yeah, an exciting new era for the Witches. Sometimes change is good, and clubs have to move forward. Do you know much about the new people in charge, Scott?
Not loads, but I've spoken to Richard. For those that are not aware, they've just taken over the Grand Prix series. Well, they're running that, so they're heavily involved with Speedway. You know, the conversations I've had with Richard and Andrew, who will be the co-promoter at Ipswich, I think I like the way they want to try and push the sport forward, especially, you know, with them now running the Grand Prix. I think they want to, you know, he's a businessman and he's a promoter. I think that's what people need to do. They need to promote and push the sport. So, like you said, whatever, it's exciting. It's they're kind of new to this side of the sport. Yeah. But sometimes it's a good thing, you know, when people put their own take on things and have their own way running businesses. But yeah, I think it's just a case of everybody, the riders, the fans alike, get behind them, and we all push in the same direction.
Well, Scott, we look forward to seeing you celebrate some triumphant wins at Vauxhall when the new season gets underway in just a matter of weeks, really. Good to have Danny King back as captain as well, Scott, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, Danny's been such a huge part of Ipswich Speedway for a long time now. I sort of remember racing with him a long while back when he was a young lad, and yeah, now for him it's obviously an honour to be captaining the side. And it's good. I think it's good to have some familiar faces. Obviously, Tom Brennan's back as well. Richard Lawson's raced for the Witches before, so I think we've got a solid team, and a team that we say some triumphant wins. There'll be nothing better than to get a few of those and ultimately to win the title again.
Ipswich Witches rider Scott Nichols speaking with Wayne Bavin on the breakfast programme yesterday. You are with match night. The second half at Portman Road is next.
Good strong running from O'Shea up to the halfway line. Gives it to the more creative and attack-minded Nunez. Now Egley on the right. This is good from Ipswich Town. Egley inside the Hull area. Cuts in on his left foot, shoots, blocked out behind for a corner. Matthew Seawer up to Taylor. His lay off to Hurst isn't good enough. Town get it back. Lovely spin from Taylor. Oh, what a goal that would have been. It's not far away at all. He hit it from about 17 yards. He just got into the area. Lovely bit of skill from him to set himself up, and he wasn't far away. Matthew Seawer's lost the ball. Crooks for Hull outside the Ipswich area, playing a ball behind Gelhardt. It's neither one thing nor the other. Thankfully that move broke down on 25 minutes 0-0. Miller one-on-one with Furlong inside the Ipswich Town area. Has it go, blocked away by Furlong. Comes towards Gelhardt. The shot from Slater deflects off an Ipswich Town player. Half-hearted appeal for a penalty not given again. Hull a threat on the break. The ball goes out of play. I think it's going to be a free kick at the back for Ipswich Town after all of that. Hull give the ball away. Taylor into the centre to Hurst. What a chance, but straight at Pandor. That should have been goal number 1 and the third game in a row for George Hurst.
Here is a health and well-being update from your friends at BBC Introducing. If you suffer from PRF, that's playlist repetition fatigue, we can help you get back on track.
Loving the energy.
BBC Introducing. Our curation experts are standing by to help you feel your best again.
Oh my word.
The best new music from where you live. Experience the BBC Introducing difference.
Our playlist is picked by humans, not machines. BBC Introducing.
Just search BBC Introducing Suffolk
on BBC Sounds.
Lots of goals in Turkey earlier, where England's women won 6-1 against Ukraine in their first World Cup qualifier. Alessia Russo with 2, Stanway with 2, Jess Park with 2 as well. Quiet in the Premier League, just that goal at Everton, who lead Burnley 1-0, and we're still waiting for our first goal in our main feature. Town 0, Hull 0. Let's rejoin Mick Mills and Brenna Woolley for the second half.
Change at half-time for Hull. McBurney is coming on, their leading goal scorer with 14, replacing Gelhardt, so it could be a change of system. Town, more importantly, unchanged. So Walton in the goal off to our right. Town and blue, white, blue, attacking the north stand, going from right to left in the second half, up against the gold shirts with black shorts and old gold socks of Hull. So Town have got Walton in goal, and it's Furlong, O'Shea, Kipre, Greaves, Matthew Seawer alongside Taylor in midfield, then Egley, Nunez, Clark and Hurst. On the bench, Palmer, Davis, Kiyuste, Burns, McAteer, Mehmeti, Akpom, Athon and Neil. Hull have got Pandor in goal. It's their side, we'll tell you the formation in a moment. McNair, Egan, Hughes, Drame, Crooks, Slater, Famewo, who came on in the first half for Coyle, McBurney, Kumas and Miller. On the bench, Phillips, Lundstrom, Ajay, Hadzimetovic, Joseph, Dowell and McCarthy planned away in the second half. Still 0-0 as O'Shea wins his first header of the second half. Been really pleased for Dara O'Shea with those back-to-back clean sheets. 2.5 at the moment, after some of the stick was way overboard about him after the Wrexham game. Well, of course he didn't play well, he did have a poor game, but goodness gracious me, as is the way nowadays, I guess. Back it goes to Kipre, giving it to O'Shea, who I just mentioned, closed down by McBurney. That'll be a different challenge for these two from the former Sheffield United and Swansea player. Good player, Ollie McBurney. Now it's with Walton, giving it to O'Shea after 40 odd seconds of this second period. Kumas has gone out to the right-hand side, Miller to the left of McBurney. So it could still be the front three.
Yeah, it's the same system.
Same system, isn't it? Yeah, McBurney through the middle. Given away by Taylor. Miller, edge of the Ipswich area, now inside the box. Miller pulls it back for McBurney. It took a deflection, gone out for a corner kick. Poor from Jack Taylor. It almost cost Town more than a corner kick.
Yeah, very much so. You just got to be careful against this side. It just really, again, it's the same man again that is very threatening, Miller, but he doesn't sort of seem to just create that chance that they dearly would love him to.
Yeah, the 72% possession for Town in the first half. I did mention it in commentary. Hull are known for always pretty much having a lot less of the ball than their opponents, so we shouldn't read anything into that. They've been winning lots of games with very low possession. Corner kick to Hull, and it comes off to our right-hand side. It was terrible. It was Egan tried to make something of it. Clark's given it to Eggerly. Forward come the blue shirts, flying en masse from right to left. Eggerly's got up to the halfway line. Reverse ball's a good one to Hurst. Hurst up against Slater, edge of the Hull area. Slater again is intercepted. He's been excellent at doing that, just getting in the way of things and winning the ball, Slater. It's been absolutely fabulous when he's done it for Hull. Has a real good knack. Crooks towards Kumas. Kumas thought about having to go from a distance, wants to tiptoe around Kipre first. Kumas still has the ball, in goes Greaves. Hull shown some attacking threat at the start of this second half, but so too of Town on the break. 2.5 minutes in, live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Kipre has a bit of time on the edge of the Ipswich penalty area, gets it into midfield, and Taylor spins away from McBurney. McBurney and Mehmeti seem to know each other, as Mehmeti walked off the pitch just before the start of this second half. They warmly greeted each other. O'Shea looking for Nunez. In the way is Famewo. He side foots it out on the far side for a throw to Darnell Furlong. Fascinating final 42 minutes in store as the home crowd try to get behind Ipswich Town. Greaves near side. A surprise inclusion at the expense of Davis. Greaves now has the ball on halfway, holds off Kumas and goes back to Kipre. Kipre forward for Nunez. What a ball. Lovely collection by Nunez. He goes to ground under pressure. Nothing wrong with it though. McNair defended the situation. Wow, he's got a good pass in him, Kipre. That was well taken by Nunez. Unlucky.
Yeah, very unlucky. You know, there was good pass, good control. Almost got a shot away.
Kumas is another one of those younger players that makes me feel old, having commentated on his dad, Jason, who you might remember as a player with Tranmere and then West Brom, played internationally for Wales. Really good, cultured midfielder. Lewis's dad, Jason. The ball's headed forward far side by O'Shea. Jack Taylor's on the ball for Ipswich, round the corner to Clark. A lovely turn from Clark, attacking the backline of Hull into the D, just took it too far. Well defended by McNair. McNair forward towards Miller. Can Miller get away from Furlong? Thankfully the answer is no. Furlong put on the afterburners, got there and gave the ball to Walton.
Yeah, he did well there, Darnell Furlong. Did really well.
Here is Kipre. I wonder if a goal's going to come on the break for either of these two sides. There is McNair, who was very good against Jack Clark a moment or so ago. Maybe Jack Clark could have had a go at goal a bit sooner though. As Pandor from outside of his area lofts the ball out to the far side towards Famewo and Miller, headed away by Furlong. Nunez with a touch to Eggerly. Eggerly's given it back to Nunez. Good link-up play between the two of them. Now Taylor on the centre spot for Ipswich, up to Clark. Clark goes square to Nunez. Nice play from Ipswich Town. Nunez has a go. He got right underneath that, and the dip didn't come until after it had gone over Pandor's crossbar.
No, he's a little bit wild, I think, Nunez, with his shooting. He just doesn't always sort of, I don't know, he hits more over the bar than anything else.
Pandor placing the ball down on the edge of his 6-yard area as Wes Burns goes out for a run. Of course, Town do have players on the bench that can come on and win this game. Mehmeti, possibly the obvious one in current form, although of course Athon's been amongst the goals. Burns I just mentioned. Maybe it's Casey McAteer's big night. McAteer's former club Leicester, Ipswich Town's next opponent on Saturday. Then next Tuesday night, Alex Matthew will be alongside me at Stoke. And then Alex again at Hillsborough a few days later when Town go to relegated Sheffield Wednesday. The next home game after Leicester's the lunchtime kick-off against Millwall. Another big one, that one. Ball wide left for Miller in front of the Hull fans, low into the Ipswich area. In the right spot is O'Shea, and he's passed it out to Egley. Again, good defending from the captain. Egley back to Furlong in front of the big screen over in the far right corner. Slater's all over Matusiwa. Matusiwa's done well to get the ball out to Nunez. Good play from Nunez. Kind of worked it from a really tight area defensively to Taylor. Taylor to the left-hand side, and Clark infield to Greaves. Greaves tiptoes away from his man out to the left-hand side. Clark not enough on it for Greaves. Cleared out by Drame off of Clark for a throw to Hull.
No, Jack Clark he went to receive the ball from Greaves, checked back, then went again, and it was just wrong. He shouldn't have confused Jacob Greaves like that.
Kieran McKenna chatting to his bench down below. Wonder if a change might come as the ball is headed on by McBurney. He was randomly linked with Ipswich Town last summer. Ollie McBurney had been playing his football with Las Palmas last season. Cost Sheffield United £20 million a few years ago when he came from Swansea. The referee's unhappy. There's something in the sky. And the Hull bench are looking up as well. It's not within our view here. Kieran McKenna looking upwards as well. Fourth official.
What is it, Moon?
Dean Whitestone having a word with Kieran.
A couple of stars up there.
Yeah. Going to be an unchallenged drop ball for Dairo O'Shea to get the game back underway with. Very random. O'Shea through a little gap in midfield to Nunez. He lays it off first time to Furlong. 8 minutes gone in the second half. We're still 0-0 in the 7:45 kick-off. Taylor to Nunez. He finds Clark centrally inside the Hull half of the field. Clark into the box to Greaves. Greaves comes in field. Little touch around the corner to Taylor, who shoots deflected. Out this near side for a throw to Ipswich Town.
It was a good move. It's a good setup, but it's surprising how well Hull deal with that type of scene.
Ball back to O'Shea. Now Furlong touches the ball into the centre circle for himself. Back it is with Furlong. I hear from Kieran McKenna on BBC Radio Suffolk before 10:30 on Match Night. Hopefully an Ipswich Town player reacting to this one as well. O'Shea, diagonal to the left-hand side, might just go away from Greaves. No, he's kept it in. He's done very well, Greaves. In goes the challenge of Drame. The ball's out for a throw into Town outside the Hull penalty area.
Yeah, Greaves did really well. He made a bad ball into a good ball, and we've got a throw in.
Greaves throws the ball back to Cedric Kipre. Kipre the ball into the box looking for Hurst just over the top of him. Pando fields it on his goal line. Still a few of the subs. Mameti I can see off to our left. Burns is still there. Athon as well. McBurney up against Kipre. Headed down by Greaves, but only for Kumas, the number 36. Wanted to take it on down the line over the top of Greaves. It's come off the former Hull player, and it's a throw-in to his old club. Drame is going to be taking it. Gives it short to Slater. Slater controls it back for Drame. Drame via Hughes. Hull get the ball back to Pandor. Back to Pandor inside his penalty area. Left-footed up towards the halfway line. Brought down on the right thigh of O'Shea. Spots a gap to run into the captain. Good strong running from him. Then has a go. It's on target. Straight at Pandor's worth a little dig from there.
Yeah, he's sensible to do that. You know, I'm all for a centre-back. If there's a space, just run into it and keep going. It's up to other players to cover you. Just go and have a shot.
Headed on by McBurney. Greaves tidies up well. Back towards Walton. Walton asked if Greaves wanted the ball returned to him, but he wasn't looking. So instead it's gone to O'Shea. Kipre into midfield. Taylor. Taylor then finds Matusiwa. Leif Davis coming on for Ipswich Town.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at that.
Nunez to Matusiwa. Matusiwa slides the ball through to Clark. Clark running into the Hull area, then off to the left-hand side. Greaves low cross is stomped away by Egan. Matthew Seaworth's header gets to McBurney forward to Miller. The spin of the ball holds it up for Miller on the left-hand side. McBurney's the target in the centre. Kumas is in there as well. Miller taking on Furlong and shooting over the top. Should have done better.
We've been saying that about him since the start of the game, pretty much. He's a very effective player. He's quick. He's got good control. But at the moment, he's not actually creating anything. He's not that. And then he's tried to go on his own. His shot is very ineffective.
A couple of the old guards, Davis and Burns, coming on for Ipswich Town. Eggley is coming off to be replaced by Burns, as he was at Watford a week ago. And Greaves is wandering across to be replaced by Leif Davis.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I thought that Kieran would reach or go towards his subs earlier than he normally does tonight. And I think that he's realised that it's probably more a night for Leif Davis than it is for Jacob Greaves, and also Wes Burns' experience for Eggerley.
Town lose the ball. That was a mistake from Davis just on the field. Kumas, lots of work to be done, skipping in field, getting a bit of good fortune. Back the ball goes to Slater. Probably as many promotion winners on the pitch as we've seen all season for Ipswich Town now, when you look at Walton, Davis, Taylor, Burns, Hurst. Now the ball is at the back with Egan. As Kieran McKenna tries to win his 100th game as Ipswich Town manager, quicker than any previous Town boss. Long it goes from Hughes down the right-hand side, looking for Kumas. Kumas has kept the ball in. Good challenge from Davis, keeping his eye on the ball. I thought he was excellent on Saturday. Leif Davis thought he had a really, really good game. I was very surprised when he didn't start this one tonight, but he's on now. He's going to end it. He's going to get more than half an hour. We've only played 13 minutes of this second half, earlier than Kieran normally makes changes, these two. Drame, in goes Davis, too strong for Kumas. Taylor finds Matthew Seaworth. Now it's with Burns on the far side. He was very good when he came on a week ago. O'Shea to Taylor. Of course, these two likely to be involved in the Republic of Ireland squad later on this month with their World Cup playoffs. Clark to Davis. Clark fouled. No, Town were waiting for the free kick. That's why Davis really didn't go after that ball. It's out of play for a throw to Hull. Sloppy from Town.
Yeah, and immediately Leif Davis. Look what Leif Davis is going to do. He's going to make forward runs more regularly than Jacob Greaves did, and more quickly as well. So, it could be a good move.
He'll also be a threat in terms of creating from set pieces as well. Leif. Drame upends Clark. That's a painful one for Clark. It's a free kick to Ipswich Town on the left corner of the Hull area.
Great position.
It is.
You could shoot from here. You could deceive the goalkeeper with a shot. Great crossing position as well.
Nunez is placing the ball. It's only a yard from the left corner of the Hull penalty area. No further punishment for Drame. We're into the 60th minute of this championship match. Still goalless between these two sides in the top five. Hull defending this Ipswich Town free kick, which Marcelino Nunez is over. He's created a fair number of goals so far since joining Ipswich. What can the Chilean do? It's knocked in centrally towards Pando. Any touch from anybody going towards him could have easily deflected it into the net, but the goalkeeper stood up to the challenge.
I think he's got to go into this near post if he's going to hit the shot. If he's going to hit the cross, then it's got to be a little bit better than that.
Drame goes back towards Hughes. Got a bit of time at both Liverpool and Manchester City's academies early on in his career. Charlie Hughes really made his name at Wigan as he tries to find Miller through the middle again. Kipre, good ball forward to Nunez. Nunez gets the better of the defender Egan. Nunez to the left-hand side, and Clark. Good promising attacking play from Town. Clark runs into the area. No, he can't get beyond Drame, who telescopically stretches out his right leg and deflects the ball out for Town's first corner of the half.
Yeah, I think we're already seeing the benefits of the pace down the left-hand side. I think that it's infectious. I think you get somebody like Leif Davis who speeds things up, and then all of a sudden everybody else wants to speed up a little bit.
Corner kick to Ipswich Town. Leif Davis just on as a substitute. He is taking this set piece. All eyes on the penalty area, off to our left-hand side. Can Town break the deadlock? Davis in it comes, headed away by the man on the near stick for Mayo. Back out to Davis, who brings it down for Taylor. Taylor and field to Matthew Sewer. Lots of grass in front of him, but instead he's quickly given it to Nunez off to his right. Nunez looks up and delivers a ball into the Hull area towards the head of Hurst. It's on target, but straight at Pandor in the centre of his 6-yard area.
Yeah, it's just too far out, really. The header's a good one. It's on target, but he's actually heading the ball probably from about 14 yards.
And goes a good challenge from Taylor. He's won the ball well. Burns coming in field. He's upended by Crook's free kick. And a yellow card for Matt Crooks. He got a half a yellow that we talked about in the first half. Now he's got the full one.
Yeah. So I think he was in the referee's mind, but I thought he was a bit unlucky here. He tries to sort of slide into it, and he just sort of misses with his first reach and then gets it with his second reach. But he's penalised for the first one.
Davis fancies this free kick. So too, it won't surprise you to hear, does Marcelino Nunez. Yet to score one at Portman Road. Nunez, 28 minutes to go. It's a free kick to Town, around about 28 yards from goal, slightly right of centre, very little angle. Hull have a 5-man wall on the edge of their penalty box. Pandor, the goalkeeper, doing some organising. Yet to see a goal so far tonight on BBC Radio Suffolk. Will this be the moment for Town to take the lead? It's Nunez who gets it up, and it didn't dip in time.
No. Over the bar again, Mr. Nunez.
Pandor places the ball on the edge of his 6-yard area. 62.5 gone, still 0-0. Yellow card finally for the goalkeeper. That's as big a roar as we've heard all night. He has been pushing his luck since pretty much 8 o'clock.
I wonder what that was all about. I was looking up in the sky again.
Yeah. As I say, after about 15-20 minutes, he was taking a while over those goal kicks. The referee's seen enough of that. Kicked out by McNair, despite the efforts of Famewa. Throw on the far side to Ipswich Town. Double change, Lundstrom, a midfielder, coming on, and Joseph, an attacker for Hull. Davis to Clark. Clark turns away from Slater, just bypasses Crooks to Matusiwa. Slater wins the ball back again. How many times have I said that? Nunez knocks down Miller, who's rolling around in the centre circle. Crooks has a word at the referee, which is a bit daft, given he's just got a yellow.
Yeah, I think he knocked him down.
Nunez apologising to Miller. Not sure Miller's fully accepting of the apology there. Some more changes from the Hull bench.
Actually, I've just seen it again. It's a lovely shoulder.
Ball out to the right for Hull, headed on by Kumas for himself. Well, he's not going to beat Leif Davis in the sprint, particularly when Leif's just come on. Slice clearance from Walton, hasn't gone out of play. Davis's header goes infield. Matusiwa up against Drame, loses out. Drame's done well. In dives Taylor. Drame goes down, the referee's play on. Matusiwa tries to win it back. Hull the man light because Drame's on the deck. Play on with Kumas. Back the ball goes to Hughes. Kumas is making a run in behind. Hughes goes to cross the ball, charged down by Clark. Out it goes for a throw to Hull City outside the Ipswich penalty area.
Well, this is a real sort of tight game, it really is. You just can't sort of work out who's got the upper hand or who's going to win the game. It's
no idea. One. Absolutely still wide open. All 3 possible outcomes. Here comes the change then. Lundstrom, currently on loan from Trabzonspor in Turkey, former Sheffield United and Rangers player. He's going to be coming on for Matt Crooks, by the likes of things. Crooks having just got that yellow card. He'll go into midfield, not quite as attack-minded, unlikely to pop up with a goal as Crooks. Lundstrom, good player. Started his career at Everton. And Kyle Joseph, a Scottish striker, signed from Swansea, is the other player about to come on. You can hear the whistles and the boos. That's because of Crooks and Miller taking their time coming off. Mehmeti coming on for Ipswich Town. That's a welcome sight.
Very much so.
So yeah, Joseph and Lundstrom replace Crooks and Miller.
Oh, Mr. Miller's gone.
Mr. Miller has gone, so he didn't do anything in the end. You were right.
He threatened. He threatened all night, but he hasn't.
He's had a little tantrum, thrown down his bandage from his wrist. Frustrated, Liam Miller. Throw in that Dramé is going to be taken for Hull. And it goes to the Ipswich area, headed away by Taylor. It's over the top of Clark, out again for another throw to Hull. Dramé takes it short to Joseph. Hughes puts it forward to Slater. Slater's cross comes into the middle, whipped away by Kipre, facing his own goal. It's bounced out behind Jack Clark. Another throw to Hull. Approaching the final quarter on BBC Radio Suffolk. Your thoughts welcome afterwards. 0800 141 2121 or text 81333. Start those messages SFK. WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Start those SFK. Headed by Davis, goes infield. Could easily have gone to a Hull player. Matthew Seward did well to get it away from Lundstrom. Burns to Clark on this left-hand side, trying to get away from Dramé. Infield to Hurst. Great spin by Hurst. Gives it out to the left-hand side, and Clark miscontrolled it for a second. Out it goes off of Joseph. Throw to Ipswich Town, which will allow Mehmeti to come on, who got the first goal on Saturday. Will he get the first goal tonight? He's going to be coming on for well, that's completely wrong, Jack Taylor, although it had number 35 up on the board, which confused me because Mehmeti's 33, but it's Mehmeti for Taylor. Interesting attacking change from Ipswich Town. So Matthew Seawer alongside Nunez, Mehmeti just in front of them. Matthew Seawer and Nunez both looking completely lost, quizzing the Ipswich Town bench. So what's happening? Confusion. Kieran McKenna shakes his head. He's not happy with it. They haven't read his mind. Davis with a throw in. Kieran noticeably agitated, puffing his cheeks out down below us, hoping that the message has got through what he wants from them.
I think there was the confusion. When Nunez joined us, people weren't quite sure whether he plays as an advanced midfield player or just a normal midfield player. He's going to be given the normal role now, with Mehmeti going in the advanced role. Clark,
midway inside the Hull half, goes square to Matthew Seawer, who turns it back to O'Shea. To his right-hand side, Furlong. Goalless live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Wes Burns attacking the Hull left back. He goes down under a challenge from Kumas. Nothing doing. Given away by Kumas, straight to Matthew Seawer. Now it's with Darnell Furlong. Kipre wants it in the centre. Instead it goes to Matthew Seawer. O'Shea finds Nunez, now playing a bit deeper in midfield. Nunez fires a pass to the left-hand side. Davis up against Dramé. Infield to Clark. Clark turns it into the box to Nunez. Nunez into the near post, patted down and then gathered by Pandor.
Good move again. Patient. Almost created something. It's been the story of the night so far for both sides, but it's a touch-and-go affair. It really is.
Athon about to come on for Ipswich Town by the looks of things, or certainly the next. That'll be the final window of change for Ipswich Town. Oh, Hurst taken out, is he, by Egan? Yellow card for Egan and no protest. Free kick on halfway.
Yeah, definite free kick.
So remember, Saturday afternoon, Ipswich Town at home to Leicester. Full match commentary on BBC Radio Suffolk. We'll start the build-up with Graham on the matchday preview on Friday night. Thoughts of Town legend John Walk on that between 6 and 7. 26,103. Low attendance for this game. And of course, the away complement won't be full. O'Shea to the centre spot, and Matthew Seawer gives it back to O'Shea. Forward to Nunez. On the right-hand side, Wes Burns. Overlapping in front of him, Mehmeti, hoping to get his first touch. Out it's gone. For a throw to Ipswich. The Hull management team deep in conversation down below us. They're going to make another change by the looks of things. Be their last opportunity to do it. Kipre to Clark. Clark goes back in field to Kipre. Nunez up towards Mehmeti. His first touch is coming on. Mehmeti, edge of the area, gets inside the box. Still the number 33, has it great feet, then he goes down. Not a penalty. And as far as Davis sets up Matusiwa! Oh, what a goal! Azor Matusiwa! With his first goal in English football, and what a strike that is! Look at the smile on the Dutchman's face. What a massive moment in this match, possibly a massive moment in Ipswich Town's season. Azor Matusiwa makes it Ipswich Town 1, Hull City 0.
Well, it was a fabulous goal, and it was an unusual goal. He doesn't score very often. That's why he didn't have any rehearsed celebration. He didn't know what to do. He seemed a little bit embarrassed about it. It was a fabulous strike, it really was. And if you don't score very often, then score like this.
Oh,
whoa, top corner.
What a finish. An absolute beauty. Kiyuste scored a terrific first goal in English football last year in that net against Nottingham Forest, I think it was. That was a great goal from the Swede, but that's even better from the Dutchman. What a controlled finish. And you were spot on, he didn't know how to celebrate, but he had 9 of his teammates after him.
Where do I go? Corner flag? I think I've seen our boys go to the corner flag. I'll go over there.
That's what they do. I'll have a little bit of that. Great reaction from his teammates. Such a popular member of the Ipswich Town squad. He ran actually straight at Ivan Athon, who'd have been delighted with that finish. Town lead Hull 1-0. Hull are going to make another change. Off goes Egan. On comes Hadzimetovic, who's a midfielder. So change of system by the looks of things. Egan, a centre-half, Hadzimetovic, an out-and-out midfielder who's been a regular starter for Hull. Sergei Akirovic, the Hull manager's found something to amuse him. He's having a right old smile and a laugh down below us. But it's certainly not the scoreline. 17.5 minutes to go. Azor Matusiwa would be a most unlikely match winner for Ipswich Town. When he finishes like that, you wonder what's kept him all the way till March to score a goal. I don't know if he scored a better one in his career. And what a moment to do it in. What a game to do it in. Davis touches the ball beyond Dramé. Dramé does well to get back. The ball runs to Hurst. Ipswich Town on the front foot. Players left, right and centre. Hurst gives it into the box. Burns to Clark. Saved by Pandor. Oh, Clark has to score. Goodness me, if Ipswich Town don't win this game, Jack Clark will look back at that. That was so poor. Town again. Clark, edge of the area. Might have another go at it. Comes out to Slater. Oh, that was such an opportunity.
He just knew he was going to score, or he thought he was going to score, and he just so nonchalantly thought, I'll just play this into the back of the net.
Terrible.
Oh dear.
It's a woeful miss from Clark. The keeper, you've got to give him some credit, but he's got to make it 2-0 there. Clark gets away from Hadzimetovic. I hope for his sake Hull don't equalise in this game. Here at the back is O'Shea. Town a third consecutive clean sheet away from a third consecutive victory now. Portman Road's got some noise. Nunez to the left and Davis. It was a good attempted assist from Burns, actually. Burns did well to play it square for Clark. Really good play from Burns. 16 to go. Dramé towards halfway, intercepted by a combination of Matusiwa and O'Shea, who rather got in each other's way. And then off the ball, they weren't looking at each other. Matusiwa has ended up on top of a Hull player, totally accidental. It's going to be a free kick to Hull, though. It was Kumas, the unfortunate player underneath the goal scorer. Live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Town ahead against Hull. We sit right next to the Ipswich Town analysts here in our commentary position. They all went absolutely nuts when that goal went in. They were jumping on top of each other. Really good to see. Here on the far side is Slater, pushing the ball forward. On the left-hand side, Hull have it with Kumas. Kumas gets his cross in off an Ipswich player. A rare corner kick goes the way of Hull City. Town up to third in the live table as things stand.
Yeah, and I think that it could be a really, really important goal, but there's still sort of, be probably 20 minutes to go so far, and so we've got to be careful. Hull will be hurt by that, but it just depends what they've got left.
Athon about to come on for Town. Final change. Corner kick for Hull, trying to draw level. In it comes to the near post. The attempted flick on was by Lundstrom, headed out by Clark as far as Drame. Drame intelligently puts the ball back out to the left-hand side. Hadzimetović's ball in, drops down off the head of O'Shea. O'Shea then gets on it again for Ipswich Town and clears his lines well. That'll do. Good work from the captains. Double change. Neil coming on as well for Ipswich. Most likely I would have thought for Nunez. Athon obviously come on for Hurst. Hull have the ball on the far side with Hadzimetović. In front of him is Kumas. McBurney points to where he wants the ball, and it comes from Kumas towards McBurney. Good defending from Leif Davis, staying on the big man, and then Nunez just goes at it and clouts the ball high over halfway. Nodded down by McNair. Burns goes over the top of his man. I think that's a free kick to Hull, which will allow Kieran McKenna to introduce Dan Neil and Ivan Athon. It's Nunez indeed who is going off, so Neil will sit alongside Matusiwa, and Athon going on for Hurst. Off will go George Hurst. Done a good job up there for Town, had that chance in the first half. So this is the team that's going to finish this game for Ipswich Town, leading by 1-0. Will we head into Leicester on Saturday, targeting a fourth successive victory for Ipswich Town before a tough trip to Stoke next Tuesday, and then Hurst's former club a week on Saturday, Sheffield Wednesday. Throw in far side that Famewo takes for Hull to Hadzimetović. Famewo back to Hadzimetović. Hull at the back with McNair, goes square to Hughes. In between a couple of tappers, Mehmeti and Athon is Lundstrom, on 500 career appearances. Lundstrom, very experienced player. Famewo tight to that far touchline. Well, Hull have got to really take a risk as this game progresses. Hughes closed down by Clark. Good pressing from Clark. Athon goes towards Pandor. Pandor plays it to the left-hand side. And McNair. Famewo up to halfway towards McBurney. McBurney flicks his header on, trying to get Kumas in behind with his pace. Furlong had a good head start and finds Walton. Walton to halfway. Athon heads it away from Lundstrom, but only towards McBurney. McBurney desperate for a sight of goal. That pass forward can't link up with Kumas. It's all the way through to Walton, who gives it out to Kipre. Azor Matusiwa's first goal for Ipswich Town has them leading this game 1-0. Davis trying to get it in behind for Athon. He's managed it. Can Athon go around the goalkeeper? Pandor's quickly out of his area. It was a mistake from the defender. It's a good ball from Davis nonetheless. Hadzimetović to Lundstrom, that new look midfield. And now it's with Famewo. McNair inside his penalty area to Pandor inside his 6-yard box.
He didn't want that.
No, he helped it on its way to Hughes. Hughes cleared, but only onto the forehead of Neil. Neil's header drops down nicely though for Hadzimetović. Hadzimetović looks forward, trying to get Kumas away from Furlong. Furlong's defended that very well. Really good play, Darnell Furlong. Back to Walton. Walton wraps his left foot around the ball and clears. Imagine Town are going to face a bit of a challenge in this last 10 minutes from Hull. Forward from Hughes. Joseph's going to try and get in behind Davis, but it doesn't matter if he does, because the ball was always going to swing out of play. Town 10 minutes plus added on away from a big win against one of the serious contenders up there. Hull, with all of these away wins, are behind at Portman Road. Davis looking towards Neil, eventually goes towards Athon, won by Drame in the air, taken down on the chest of Joseph. Joseph infield to Hadzimetović. Matusiwa's in the way. Hadzimetović gets the better of him, not O'Shea. Neil's on the ball. Neil's robbed by Slater. Again, Slater doing that job. He's been exceptional at that tonight. On the right-hand side, Joseph's low ball into the middle is dealt with by Kipper. Needed to be touched back into the box by Mehmeti. Clark's taking a chance. Eventually ping-pongs around in there. Just get rid of it, most fans are thinking. Dramé with a little nod down. Hughes gets on the ball, plays it in field. Touched away by Neil, but only to Lundstrom. Town under a little bit of pressure. The crowd react well. Lundstrom in the centre of Portman Road. Town 1, Hull 0, live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Hull have it with Lundstrom very deep inside his half. Mehmeti's going to close down McNair. McNair floats the ball up towards Joseph. It's over the top of he and Davis. Kipre comes across against McBurney. McBurney's got the better of Kipre. Mistake from the big defender. McBurney's gone down. The foul was just outside the area. It's a free kick, certainly not a penalty. It's a free kick to Hull. It's been given by the referee. Kipre's got a yellow card for the challenge on McBurney, who'd got the better of him there.
Yeah, we just got to be careful. Mustn't make any mistakes. I know this is a little spell for Hull. This is 3 or 4 minutes where they've got themselves going, but we've got to withstand this.
Hadzimetovic on this free kick for Hull. Down the right-hand side of the Ipswich Town penalty area. Only a yard outside the box, really. Hull have got plenty of players along the edge of Ipswich Town's 6-yard area off to our right. Slater is available in the D for the pullback. Hadzimetovic, his hands on his hips. Walton bouncing around a yard off his goal line. 1-0 Town lead. In it comes Lowe. Tried to catch him out. Walton was alert to it. Clever from Hadzimetovic.
Yeah, he did. Tried to steer it into the near post. He actually pulled it a little bit further back than he wanted to. He's looking at just inside the near post and hoping that Walton's thinking too much about coming out for the cross.
Dramé gets the ball back to McNair, who's had a good game for Hull. Reintroduced to the side tonight. O'Shea brings it down for the goal scorer Matu Siwa. Neil miscontrols it. McBurney gives it to Slater. The crowd getting a little bit edgy. 82.5 minutes played. Hull looking for an equaliser. Lundstrom out to the left. It's a real test for both of these sides at the moment. In comes the cross from Kumas into the hands of Walton. I saw McBurney rising, but thankfully had too much flight and he's ended up in the net. But thankfully the ball hasn't.
Yeah, decisive from Walton. It was always going to be his ball in the end, but he's taken it nicely. He hasn't had an awful lot to do in the game, Christian, so he's got to be ready for anything late on.
Mehmeti, poor touch again from him. Hasn't quite got up to the speed of the game so far. 7 minutes of normal time to go. So Town probably 10, 11 away from victory, potentially. Ball's out for a throw-in. Just sense looking at the Ipswich Town analysts, they know this is a big win. This is bigger than Watford. This is bigger than Swansea. You know, they'll talk about it just being 3 points, and that's what Kieran McKenna said pre-match, and we'll say post-match. But you can just tell how anxious and jittery they are, and how desperate they are to see this one over the line. As the ball is on the far side, bit of wrestling going on between Mehmeti and Lundstrom, cleared away by Hull. O'Shea up over the top of McBurney. A good game, the captain. Mehmeti with a nice little touchdown, rolled it infield. Hull clear it up to the chest of McBurney. He touches it back to Hadzimetovic. A lot on that ball towards Kumas. Kumas keeps the ball in underneath the Hull fans. One-on-one with Furlong. Back comes Matusiwa to help out. Kumas gets between the pair of them into the area. Slater with a little back heel into the path of Kumas, who shot, but it was blocked away by the Town player. Athon loses the ball easily to Hadzimetovic. Not good from the Spaniard. Wide on the left-hand side. Fomeo too much on the ball from the Bosnian midfielder. On loan from Besiktas in Turkey. Hadzimetovic played there under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer season before last. Furlong underneath those Hull supporters, who at the moment face a rather long, miserable journey back. Tuesday into Wednesday. 5 minutes to go. Not used to seeing their side lose away from home. As Furlong takes a tumble. Free kick at right back to Ipswich Town.
A little bit of relief for them. You know, this has been a really good spell. It's lasted probably about 10 minutes, this spell, where Hull have really pushed the game. They're sort of trying really desperately get this back to 1-1 if they can, you know, but they will be just as vulnerable on the break as what we have been sort of during the first half. So, the chances are they might create something, but we could easily catch them on the break.
Walton taking his time over this free kick in the left back area. We're in the 86th minute. Kind of close, not close enough though. Long ball forward. Cleared away left-footed by Famewo. Not too far, came off a Town player. Hull got a bit lucky, they've got it on the edge of their area with Hughes. To his right-hand side, Drame. Drame down the line towards Joseph. Well won by Davis. Town now have the ball with Clark. Mehmeti is also down the left-hand side. Clark to Neil. Neil and Phil to Matthew Siwa. Ansky used to not get many minutes at the moment, with Neil, Taylor and Matthew Siwa all apparently ahead of him. O'Shea looks to the far side and Furlong closed down. Hull win the ball, played forward into the area looking for McBurney. It's got too much on it. Can he keep it in? No, he can't. Off he goes towards the tunnel after losing that race.
Yeah, tense moments.
Yeah, it is tense. Walton with this goal kick. Kieran McKenna 3.5 minutes away from his 100th win as Ipswich Town manager. Walton putting the ball down. Town back in action on Saturday. Full match commentary of Leicester City's visit on BBC Radio Suffolk. And if Town do go and win this game, they've got to go and complete a hat-trick of home victories against Leicester. Got to capitalise on this. Furlong's good header forward finds Athon. Athon's held it up, then played out to the right-hand side, and Burns pushed down by Kumas. Free kick over on the far side of the field.
He went down sensibly, but very lightly.
Words between the two of them.
Yeah, I don't blame the...
Poor from Neil, giving the ball away. Hull can't get forward just yet. Nodded on by Slater. Back is Matthew Siwa. Shame we spoke to Azo Matthew Siwa after the game on Saturday. Really, really nice to speak to him after this one. Hopefully as the match-winning goal scorer. O'Shea back towards Walton. There is Cedric Kipre inside his own area. Doesn't take any chances. Clears the ball up towards Mehmeti, who holds it up under pressure from McNair really well. Good play, Mehmeti. Out of play from Furlong. 88 minutes exactly. I can imagine there'll be too many people leaving this one early of the 26,100 as Hull get the ball to halfway. Good interception from O'Shea, who's been terrific at the back for Ipswich Town. He really has. McBurney couldn't get the ball out from under his feet to find Kumas. He was caught late though, McBurney. Free kick to Hull in the 89th minute. Kieran just walking up and down inside his technical area. His thoughts to come on match night before 10:30. Hopefully those of an Ipswich Town player. Free kick inside the Hull half. They are 1-0 down as we head towards the 90th minute. The added on time board's going to be fascinating. McBurney with a really good header into the area. In comes the sliding challenge of Kipre. Good decision. McNair was looking for the penalty or maybe the corner kick. He got neither. It's a goal kick to Walton.
It was a great header by McBurney to put him into the position, and I think he was trying to win himself a corner kick, but Kipre outwitted him.
Yeah, he did well. Good defending from Kipre. Fingers crossed, Ipswich Town closing in on another clean sheet. The board has been programmed. We're about 30 seconds away from finding out what the magic number is going to be. The lower the better, of course, as Walton clears left-footed to the far side over the top of Burns.
I think there could be 6 or 7. A lot of substitutions. A lot.
Throw in for Mayo. Gets it back from Lundstrom. A little bit light from Mehmeti. Hadzimetovic switches play. Excellent ball. Chested down by Joseph. In the final seconds of the 90 minutes, Hadzimetovic has the ball, gets the better of Burns. He's looked useful since he's come on. Wide on the left-hand side. 5 minutes of added on time to be played. In comes the ball, headed away by O'Shea. Well controlled by Athon. Athon's done well to release Clark. Clark has Burns running through the middle. He hasn't seen him just yet. He's eventually found Burns. Burns spins into Hadzimetovic. Flag was up against the Welshman anyway. Free kick at the back. Kieran McKenna and Martin Pert furious about something. He bodies back behind the ball. Hadzimetovic picks out a pass to Joseph. Wow, fingernails at the ready. Down with a 1-0 lead with 4.5 minutes to hold on to it. Hull have the ball in the centre of Portman Road with McNair. Town leading the best away side in the division at Portman Road. Drame gets the ball out from under his feet, crosses, there's nobody there. Walton lets it go. No doubt after a bit of communication from a colleague. He's got a goal kick off the floor to take his time over.
Yeah, a little bit of time now we can waste. Just push everybody up, get out of the defensive area. Let's hit it long, hit it wide, get plenty of players around the first ball and win the second.
Walton bounces the ball a few times on the edge of his 6-yard area. Just the camera zooming in on some smiles amongst the town crowd, but also a little bit mix of anxiety and concern that maybe this will be stolen away from them. Famewu with a header on to McBurney, who does likewise. O'Shea clears it away. 90 seconds into the added on 5 minutes. Dan Neal brings it down, poor touch. Town win it back. Mehmeti tries to release Clark. In will go Hughes. Hughes gives it back to his goalkeeper. A rare 90 minutes this for Jack Clark, one would imagine, over the course of the season. Headed forward by Davis. Athon, clever headed pass to the left-hand side by the Spaniard. That was good. Mehmeti running in from the left-hand side. Mehmeti, edge of the box, he still has it, runs into traffic. Hull have too many players back. Hadzimetovic at right back. Clears the ball out for a throw to Ipswich Town, approaching the midway point of the added-on 5. That's good. Mazo Matusiwa, man of the match. I thought he might get that. Here is Davis. Helps when you score a goal like that. The only goal we've seen so far. Hadzimetovic eases Clark off the ball, plays it up towards McBurney, but he's inside his own half. He lays it off to Joseph. Joseph to the left-hand side for Maywo. Long it goes up towards Kumas. Kumas gives Furlong a nudge in the back. The referee spotted it.
It's trying to be clever, and it's a silly thing to do. You've got to keep the ball in play. It's not easy for Darnell Furlong to deal with that. Furlong
has wandered up towards the halfway line as Walton gets ready to take this free kick. The Town less than 2 minutes away from a win. Yellow card for Walton. Both goalkeepers carded. That's a bit of a rarity. Walton launches it long for Town towards Athon, who rises. So too Mehmeti, nodded down by Lundstrom, cleared forward by Hull. It's over the top of O'Shea, his battle with McBurney, who ends up on the deck. O'Shea clears it to halfway. Hadzimetovic with a touch. McBurney goes up against Matusiwa, the match winner as things stand. 1-0 Town. Hull have 1 minute and 20 seconds to get a dramatic equaliser. Drame's ball deflects off of Neal, back at left back. He plays it against Drame. Drame's appealing. It's not gone out of play until it eventually goes out for a corner kick to Hull.
Well, I would have said that was a Town ball.
I thought it was as well.
It was wrong to sort of let it go out of play, but it was Con, the linesman.
The goalkeeper has gone up. Ivor Pandor is inside the Ipswich Town penalty area. We're in the final minute of the added on 5 at the end of this game. Let's hope there's no late drama. McNair with this corner kick. In it comes, headed away by Kipre exceptionally. And as far as Drame lofts it out to the right hand side. The keeper's gone back home on the halfway line. McNair on the right hand side, little ball into the box. McNair gets it back, tries to take it on beyond Furlong. Cleared by Ipswich Town. Kieran McKenna's got the ball in his hands. Town are 30 seconds away from victory. Drame sprinting to get the ball in his hands. There will be an almighty roar in about 20 seconds time as Clark puts the ball high into the clouds. Athon battles for it. Lundstrom heads it down. Drame knocks it up in the air. I don't know what he's trying to do there. The Messi's on the ball. It's bouncing around on the halfway line. Town seconds away from a big win. The ball's out on the far side. That might do it. The referee checks his watch. And Ipswich Town win It's 3 successive clean sheets, 3 successive victories for Ipswich Town. Kieran McKenna wins his 100th game in charge of Ipswich Town, the fastest manager in Ipswich Town's history to reach that landmark in his 210th game in charge. Thanks to a thunderbolt from Azor Matusiwa, Ipswich Town are up to 3rd in the championship table. This is a big, big win.
Oh, it's a massive win, there's no question about that, and for such a long time it looked as if it was really going to be difficult to achieve. Hull City, we know, we've looked at their stats, and everything suggests that they can be in really tight battles. They can concede possession to the opposition. They can concede a lot of shots to the opposition, but somehow they seem to, just from a minimal amount of attacking play, they can squeeze results, and you could see the pattern out there. Right through the first half, there was a pattern that suggested that Town were going to be in charge of the game. Town were going to be striving to create the chances, but Hull were going to play on the break, and they would try desperately to create something that they could score from, but basically they weren't able to do that in the first half. And then the second half, similar sort of pattern, but then you didn't really believe that Matusiwa was going to do what he did, but you felt that it was going to take something special to win the game, and it really was something special. I mean, he doesn't score, it's not just in his time at Town, it's right through his career. You look at his stats, he probably scores 1 in 40 appearances, and here we are. This will probably be his 1 in 40, by the end of the season. But it was a dream of a shot. He got the ball, he set it up, and you could see he had a channel down the side of a defender, keep it straight, keep it to the defender's left-hand side, keep it inside the left-hand post. It would mean the goalkeeper would have to do something wonderful to get across and save it. He struck it well, he struck it straight, and it ends up in the back of the net. Crucial goal for Ipswich, it really was. And then what you have after that is a Hull City team that were able to come out of their shell, come out of the defence, and take the game to the opponents, and looked at times as if they could get an equaliser. Jack Clark missed the biggest sitter of all time, he really did. Matusiwa is really sort of milking it up there now. The players have sent him in to a one-man celebration in front of the North Stand. He deserves it. The team deserve this now, and they're setting up. What they're doing now is they're gradually working their way through the week that we dearly wanted 9 points. We've got 6. There's 3 more up for grabs. We've just got to do that, and then let's see what we can achieve afterwards.
Yeah, got to beat Leicester at the weekend. Lovely scenes down there. Such a popular player within the Ipswich Town squad. Azor Matusiwa has been hugged by everybody down there, everybody with massive smiles on their face. And when he got a huge warm embrace from Kieran McKenna, there was a rare outpouring of emotion from Kieran. Absolutely delighted for his summer signing, getting his first goal for Ipswich Town. And what a goal in terms of the enormity of the situation and also the quality of the strike. We'll hear from Kieran McKenna before 10:30 on Match Night, and also get reaction from one of his players as well, hopefully on air, talking about his side's 1-0 win over Hull City at Portman Road.